We need shelter, please. CEO Biker and her 20 women saved bankrupt Marine's single dad. The rain hammered down like bullets on the cracked asphalt as Marcus stood in the doorway of what used to be his auto repair shop, staring at the foreclosure notice nailed to the door. His hands trembled, not from the cold, but from the weight of failure pressing down on his chest. He was a Marine veteran who had survived 2 tours overseas, but nothing had prepared him for this battle, raising his 6-year-old daughter alone while watching everything he'd built crumble to dust. That night, with nowhere else to turn and his daughter shivering in their car parked behind the shop, Marcus made a decision that would change his life forever. He walked into the only place still open on that desolate road, a roadside diner where a group of leather-clad women on motorcycles had just pulled in from the storm. What happened next wasn't just a rescue. It was a reminder that sometimes angels wear biker boots, and miracles come roaring down the highway on Harleys. Before we dive into this incredible true story, I want to invite you to join our Heartfelt Moments family. If you believe in the power of kindness and love hearing stories that restore your faith in humanity, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below telling us about a time someone showed you unexpected kindness. Your stories inspire us to keep sharing these moments. Now, let's get back to Marcus and the night that changed everything. Marcus pushed open the diner door with his daughter Emma tucked under his arm, wrapped in the only dry blanket they had left. The warmth hit them immediately, along with the smell of coffee and the low rumble of conversation. At the back corner booth sat 20 women, their leather jackets dripping rainwater, their faces weathered but kind. Marcus didn't want to interrupt, but desperation has a way of stripping away pride. He approached their table, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry to bother you all," he said, "but my daughter and I need shelter, please. Just for tonight. I'm a veteran, I've got skills, I can work, we just need help." The diner went silent. Emma peeked out from under the blanket, her big brown eyes taking in the room. Then one woman stood up. She was tall, with silver streaks in her dark hair and eyes that had seen their share of storms. Her name was Rebecca, and unbeknownst to Marcus, she was the CEO of a successful construction company in Dallas. But on weekends, she led the Wild Roses, a women's motorcycle club dedicated to charity work across Texas. She looked at Marcus, then at Emma, and without hesitation, she said, "You're coming with us." What Marcus didn't know was that these 20 women had just finished a fundraising ride for homeless veterans. They had raised over $50,000 that weekend, and they were on their way back home when the storm forced them to stop. Rebecca saw something in Marcus that night, the same hollow look she'd seen in her own father's eyes years ago when he'd lost his job and nearly lost hope. She wasn't about to let history repeat itself with another veteran in need. The women pulled together that night and got Marcus and Emma a warm hotel room. But Rebecca didn't stop there. The next morning, she sat down with Marcus over breakfast and listened to his story. He told her about serving his country, about losing his wife to cancer 3 years ago, about trying to build a business to provide for Emma while honoring his late wife's memory. He told her about the medical bills, the failed business loan, the clients who couldn't pay, and the final straw that broke everything. As he spoke, tears rolled down his weathered cheeks, but his voice never wavered. This was a man who hadn't given up, he'd just run out of options. Rebecca made some calls. Within a week, the Wild Roses had organized something extraordinary. They called it Operation Marine Rescue, and it spread through the veteran and biker communities like wildfire. Rebecca's construction company donated materials. The Wild Roses organized volunteer days. Local businesses that heard the story contributed tools, equipment, and labor. Marcus's landlord, moved by the community response, agreed to halt the foreclosure if Marcus could make up 3 months of back payments. But the women did something even more important than saving his shop. They saved his spirit. Every single day for 3 weeks, members of the Wild Roses showed up. Some helped rebuild and renovate the shop, turning it from a rundown garage into a clean, modern facility. Others watched Emma, taking her to the park and making sure she had meals and laughter while her father worked alongside the volunteers. Rebecca personally mentored Marcus on business management, teaching him accounting basics and helping him create a sustainable business plan. She introduced him to potential clients from her network and helped him establish payment systems that would protect him from future cash flow problems. The grand reopening of Marcus's shop happened on a sunny Saturday morning 2 months after that rainy night in the diner. Over 200 people showed up, including all 20 women from the Wild Roses. There was a ribbon-cutting ceremony, local news coverage, and Emma, wearing a tiny mechanic's uniform her dad had bought her, stood proudly beside him as he cut the ribbon with tears streaming down his face. But the most powerful moment came when Marcus pulled Rebecca aside and tried to thank her. She stopped him mid-sentence and said something he'd never forget. "Marcus, we didn't save you. You saved yourself by having the courage to ask for help. We just showed up because that's what community does." Today, Marcus's auto repair shop is thriving. He employs 3 other veterans and has become an advocate for veteran-owned businesses in his community. Emma is flourishing in school, and every year on the anniversary of that rainy night, Marcus closes his shop and takes Emma on a ride with the Wild Roses to help other families in need. Rebecca and Marcus remain close friends, and the Wild Roses have made Operation Marine Rescue an annual initiative, helping struggling veteran entrepreneurs across Texas. This story reminds us that kindness isn't just about grand gestures, it's about seeing someone in their darkest moment and choosing to be their light. Rebecca and her 20 women could have simply wished Marcus well and driven away that rainy night. Instead, they stopped, listened, and acted. They proved that when we show up for each other, when we extend our hands instead of turning away, we don't just change one life, we create ripples of hope that spread far beyond what we can imagine. So today, ask yourself, who needs you to show up for them? Because sometimes, being someone's miracle is as simple as saying yes when they ask for help.